crafted up a little top 5 on a Monday. Breeders' Cup Classic Division. Sound off. Let us know who's taking that 5th spot.
Look, we said back on January 1st, with all the returning horsepower, this is going to be one of the best classic divisions that we've seen in a while, and that didn't even account for the 3-year-olds that have been big-time stars. So number 5, I've got Fierceness. Now, he has 2 races this year. One was a track record, and the other one was a bit of a disappointment in the Met Mile. But a couple things that I like about this horse. Number 1, he's learned to stalk. Remember when he was a 3-year-old and he had to have the lead? We thought, no, every race he's stalking. Now, in the race that he lost, he's also shown us he doesn't like a sloppy track. So could get back to the fast track. I'm a little worried that I don't know if a 1.25 mile is optimal. He was an amazing second in last year's Breeders' Cup Classic with that torrid pace. The guy is really strong, coming off a bit of a disappointment, but I like the stalking style and a big high cruising speed.
Take us to that 4th spot here, Caleb. Could it be one of the star 3-year-olds that we've seen for 25?
Feels crazy having a horse like Journalism number 4, but that tells you how loaded this field is. Now, Journalism, I'd have a tough time betting against him, that's for sure. But here are the obstacles for Journalism. He has up to potentially 3 lengths to find on Sovereignty, and that's not even to account for taking on the older horses like a horse that he might face in the Pacific Classic. But he's by Curlin, and the Curlins, just like Curlin himself, just like Vino Rosso, they get better with time. And that stretch run he gave you in the Haskell, that was at 1.1 miles. He could have 12 whole more seconds to show you that stretch run at 1.25 miles.
Very impressive there in the Haskell. What about a little recency bias? Maybe a horse over the past weekend that blitzed him with the figures.
So Nisos has 6 races, and if you look at every single point of call in the daily racing form, he is either number 1, advanced closer to the leader with every call, or number 2, pulled away from the horses in 2nd and 3rd. So at every call, the horse is advancing, even in his loss to Mindframe in the Churchill Handicap. 2nd to last call, he was down a half length, and at the wire, he was only down a net. So this guy just moves on forward. He's got a rating in stalking gear, was working an A- at Del Mar, and has the home track advantage going into the Breeders' Cup.
Wiped the floor with him there in the San Diego Handicap. Very impressive. Going to bode well getting back to the Seaside Oval. Who's another horse who's maybe getting set to make a return down there at Del Mar later this year?
Okay, so he doesn't have a win yet this year, but don't forget about Sierra Leone. Because one thing about Sierra Leone, every race, even in his defeats, if you look at the final column, he's always chipping in to the margin. He's down 1 3/4 lengths, then he's only down a half length. He's down 2 lengths, then he's down 1 length. Even when he loses, he's still running at you late. The first race of the year, he needed the race, there was no pace. And then the second to Mindframe, I thought he really was charging on into another slow pace. So he's had 2 extremely slow paces this year. Once he gets a little more tempo, he's going to show you why he's got that classic late kick.
Last year's classic winner there in Sierra Leone, taking out that 2 spot. Self-explanatory, loaded list. Talk us through the top selection.
So Sierra Leone last year was the 3-year-old who ascended and won the classic. This year, Sovereignty is that horse. And what's amazing is that when you compare Sovereignty to Sierra Leone as a 3-year-old, Sovereignty is a step ahead of Sierra Leone pretty much every bit of the way. And this horse is doing it so easily. And how about this, Dubs? He just showed us he's got a rating gear. This horse was a closer during the Triple Crown season and in the Kentucky Derby, and now he's laying a length off the pace. He's just kind of showing off at this point, and he's given us 12 more buyer points. His average buyer before the Derby, 93. His average buyer now through the Derby, 105, and that's a number good enough to win the Breeders' Cup Classic.
There it is. Sound off. Let us know. Caleb Keller's top 5 in the Classic Division, where we stand at the back end of July. Fierceness, Journalism, Nisos, Sierra Leone, and Sovereignty. Best in the division, best in the sport from what we have seen in 2025. Let us know, is there anything out of order? Would you have another horse up on top in terms of those classic contenders?